everybody. It is June 1st, 2023. Today is the day the debt ceiling, or the government's supposed to run out of money. But no, they pushed it back a few days. Don't worry, don't stress. Meanwhile, it looks like some whales or somebody is dumping some money in MWeb. That's what we're going to talk about with Johnny when we come back right after this. So give us a like, share the video, and jump in the live chat with our crew. Hey, Johnny, what in the world is going on with Litecoin and MWeb specifically?
Well, we're having a good day today. Let me.
I was gonna say, I think I can share that screen share.
Get an update.
Is it any better than what you sent earlier today?
Let's see. I mean, that's the by far. Did you see the? Oh yeah. I mean, that's absolutely skyrocketing. Let's see how much Litecoin's in it right now. Well, it's 364,000 Litecoin. So it's
so a little bit more than that.
I think that's even a little higher than it was earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty crazy. Let me see. Let me go to a what was the balance before that I sent you? It was
34,852,032.
I think it's a little more. The price, it might have went down a tiny bit. It's showing a price at $95.21.
Yeah, this was.
So I think the amount is a little, but it's skyrocketing. So we're seeing a lot of whale activity, like you said in the tweet. There's a lot of whale activity right now at Litecoin. If you watch like the Whale Watcher thing where they show big transactions,
yes,
there's been big Litecoin transactions going through all day long.
Did you tweet any of those?
I didn't tweet any of them today. No.
Okay, I did the other day. I might go try to find. There was one huge one the other day. And I was like, what in the world? But it was right before, they were talking about the debt ceiling stuff going on, and the U.S. Biden fell supposedly. But if you look at these kids' faces in the back, none of them respond or do anything. So, like, you guys use some critical thinking. Do you really think that happened?
Right. What if the president falls? People will be like, when you hear a gasp.
Look at all these kids behind when the camera comes back up on their
Unless
faces.
They're just expecting it.
No, not even looking at him, not even watching. Some other guy's pointing around in the back, about 3 feet back.
So Lisa, as we speak, I went to Twitter. That account's called Clank App, and they're like 15 seconds ago, a $13.9 million transaction just moved through the Litecoin network.
Clank App.
Yep. Same thing. Another 13.9 million one a minute ago. Another one of the same amount 2 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago, the same amount. 3 minutes ago, again, the same amount. 5 minutes ago, the same amount. Wow. Someone's moving around a lot of Litecoin. Now, Litecoin trading went live in Hong Kong. I did a retweet that Master did. The highest volume of any coin on the first day is Litecoin.
Wow.
Coincidentally, it has more trading volume than Bitcoin even. So what is all these transactions are all Litecoin. All Litecoin.
Litecoin. All of these 6 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago.
This looks like an exchange moving money around. If it's the same amounts that keep moving around, that to me would be an exchange.
Or a government?
Could be absolutely a government. government or an exchange. Why would governments not use Litecoin or Bitcoin? It's a open monetary network. It's decentralized. You know, the transaction's going to clear. Seems like a thing a government would want to use. You know what I mean?
This is crazy.
I always said that one of my hopes is that governments are forced to settle into Litecoin in the future.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So I finally got back to the first post that's not Litecoin. So this is 22 minutes ago. The first one that's not 23 minutes ago was a USDT. Yeah. On the Tron blockchain. Back to the Litecoin, same amount. Litecoin. I just wonder if there's a pattern here, if you could go through and figure out.
Why is all this Litecoin moving around? Yeah.
And at the same time that's happening, we're seeing that MWeb volume spike.
Explode,
so we know
and that's
where it's going.
The coolest thing with that, it's fully auditable. So if you check any block explorer, every block that clears, the last transaction in that block shows you the MWeb balance of what's moving in or what's moving out, like the peg in and the peg out. That's why it's called the extension block. So it's pretty cool. You know, now who moved all that money into MWeb? The cool thing about MWeb is if you transact around in it, it's totally private. It's only when it comes out that you come up out of the water. So if somebody's surveilling the water, they can see you pop out of it. But while you're underwater, it's totally private. So, you know, I kind of like that system in general. I don't necessarily like the idea of a totally privacy coin. I like the idea of privacy, but I like having some things transparent that the public can see. Again, my hope is that in the future, governments have to settle into the Bitcoin or Litecoin network. And I want them doing it on chain where we the people can see. You know, they're going to be like, oh no, we want to use MWeb. We don't want you guys to see. Right now, we can't see anything the government does. We don't know what goes missing. If you talk to Catherine Austin Fitz, you know, a few years ago, I think 2 years ago, her and that guy Mark Skidmore, I think, audited the government, and there's 21 trillion missing.
Yeah.
What's that amount at right now? I mean, that's when the debt was around 21 trillion. That amount might mirror the actual debt. Might be 30 trillion that's missing now.
Yeah, I'm sure it's increased. I'm trying to go back to see when these Litecoin. So it looks like an hour ago the amount changed to 121. It's like they have scheduled this to run every so many minutes at a certain amount, and then it changes at the next minute, at the next hour.
Yeah, I mean, what
to run? I don't know how long ago this goes back. I mean, because I noticed it a day or two ago on this whale app. Because somebody had identified it and retweeted it. I wasn't following it.
Now these could be the same Litecoin moving from wallet to wallet to wallet to wallet to wallet. It's not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, they could just be for privacy purposes, moving money into different wallets. Could be testing the network. Could be tests being performed. We don't know what they're doing. Could be different. If you go to the block, if you went to you could actually probably track this if you went to the Litecoin network and you could track those transactions. Then you could see, is that the same Litecoin that was just moved to the previous block? Is that moving again? But it is interesting. There's all these transactions going on. The MWeb balance is exploding, and trading in Hong Kong just went live on a few coins, Litecoin being one of them, which coincidentally has the highest trading volume. So it's, it's to be expected. We have the halving coming up. There's the other factor where, there could be some heavy-handed regulation that comes down, whether it's fair, unfair, if we agree with it, don't agree with it. One thing's pretty clear is that Litecoin is generally considered a commodity. And we've talked about it before. It's not like we should be beating our chest and be like, now we have this guy as our boss. It's like, who's our boss now? But in the grand scheme of things, you'd rather be deemed a commodity than a security. It's just a lot better overall. It's a lot better for adoption. Companies are going to adopt the non-secured, the tokens that clearly are not securities. That's why PayPal's careful. They only have a few coins available. Hong Kong, what coins did they list? Litecoin being one of them. These are like the coins that are kind of, regulatory compliant. Histories attached to them. There's a lot of history behind Litecoin. We're in the 12th year. No failure in the network. That's pretty big. I mean, that's not a small feat. You know what I mean? That's a big.
It's more than Bitcoin can say for themselves. More than
Bitcoin can say. There's never been and not only that, Bitcoin's had the one hiccup, but Bitcoin has a lot of traffic jams where the network clogs up, it backs up. Transactions fail where they don't get confirmed because people put too low of a fee on them and they just stay in that mempool for weeks and weeks.
Okay.
I've heard of transactions not going through at all because there's too much congestion.
And that's when that ordinal stuff started? Is that when that kind of became a real issue?
I mean, that's happened a lot. Go back to 2017 during the bull run. The Bitcoin network, same thing. It congested. And that's why that's why at the time Abra, when they first launched their app, every transaction was a blockchain-based transaction, which made that app really cool. You could see if you bought Bitcoin, it was a transaction on the Bitcoin network. If you did a trade, so they had everything being backed up on the blockchain. And they actually switched to Litecoin to run everything on when the network just got too nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's been several times though where the Bitcoin network has congested and people have turned to Litecoin. Peter McCormick tweeted, that's the guy, the What Bitcoin Did podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He tweeted this week about Litecoin. He said, like it or not, he's like, I may get a bunch of crap for talking about this, but he said people turn to Litecoin. You can not like it all you want, but it's the truth and it's reality. You can't ignore reality. And that's why we saw the use going through on the Litecoin network. So exciting times lie ahead for Litecoin. It's definitely clearly undervalued. It's not a coin that people really have an interest in pumping. It's not a coin that anyone can gain advantage on anyone else. It's not like a coin that venture capitalists got a lot of upfront.
Right.
It's a coin that has mining. It's been around for a while. It's pretty dispersed as far
Charlie
as
Lee sold his bags.
Charlie. So it's not a coin that anybody can really gain a big advantage on anyone else. So that's why coincidentally you don't hear about it being pumped. Now people are like, well, why hasn't the CFTC came out and made it more clear that Litecoin is a commodity? Guys, we're at war right now with the bad guys. if they came out and said that, it would turn the whole world onto Litecoin. The price would pump. People would be like, wow, this is a good alternative. They don't want that. They don't. They're at war right now against us. We the people. If you're out there watching this show, or you think, they're at war against crypto, not me. They are at war against every last one of us with this Operation Choke Point 2.0. And I was talking about the original Choke Point forever. You remember that, Lisa, years ago?
Yes, you've been talking about that for a long time in banking. And, that's what Senator Graham, gosh, I have these dumb people in front of me on the screen. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. Reverend Graham came out and told his congregation there's a storm coming for us. And it's this choke point through that the banks are really in control of and make the government do things. And Elon will validate this because he said that he had to do certain things because the banks were like holding a gun to his head during that Twitter buyout or purchase thing.
Yeah.
So it's a real thing about who's really in control and who's making them do things. And that's why right now we're seeing people, do this boycott thing and all of this and using our money to vote or to have our voice heard. And they want control of that they are not going to give that up lightly. And that's where this is so ironic to me, this story about where, Pocahontas thinks that she's going to solve the fentanyl crisis by getting rid of crypto. Well, there's more drugs on paper dollars than have ever touched crypto, I think, and I just think it's insane to me that, that's the most. But of course, they already had a plan to get rid of your paper dollar and your silver and your tangible monies. So now they want to get rid of the next thing that will allow you to be sovereign and have your own voice and be able to operate outside of what they tell you to do.
Never blame the tool. I've talked about this before because people said, well, crypto, it's for criminals. And I've said, well, if criminals didn't want to at least try to use this stuff in certain instances, it wouldn't be a good money. Nobody tells a criminal what to do. So if they're going to make a transaction on the internet, they probably are going to try to use a cryptocurrency. They're going to use the best available tool to them. So I was talking to a group one time and I said, if somebody came in here and robbed us, what are they going to steal? What's valuable? They're not going to steal the napkins and the paper towels. Mm-hmm. I mean, unless that stuff's in real shortage. But generally speaking, they're going to say, give me your jewelry, give me your cash. And it's probably all they're going to think is your jewelry and your cash. And, hey, you got a nice car out there. Give me the keys. I'll drive off in that kind of thing. But so you can never blame the tool. It's like, when we see these events happen and they try to take away our Second Amendment rights. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's the gun's fault. The gun didn't come out of the closet and go shoot some people. Some lunatic used the gun.
Yeah.
It's
Uncle Cliff did a great podcast on that. He talked about the number of arms that there are in the United States versus other countries and per person. And that actually we're one of the most restrained groups of people because for the number of guns or arms that there are per person versus how many times people are actually harmed with them, it's very low. And so we're actually really restrained in the use of these arms. So just one of those things, but they're going to spin it to make it look.
And then the whole argument, which we know is obviously true, you take away the criminals don't follow the gun laws. They're criminals.
Right.
So if you take away legal gun ownership It's kind of like making it harder for the general public to use crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Criminals are going to just go around it. They're not going to do KYC anyways and all this stuff. So if you make it harder for the average people, you're just hurting the American public is what they're doing. Again, they're at war against us, every last one of us. It's not, it's kind of like there was that meme with Trump. He kind of said, they're not coming after me, they're coming after all of you. And that's with this crypto thing. It's, don't think you're immune because you're not in crypto. I did a video yesterday. I said, unfortunately, normies are going to buy Bitcoin when the price is over $100,000. And there's going to be capital controls in place. They're going to be limited on how much they buy. And it's going to be during a hyperinflationary time period. I've been saying this for years, since Bitcoin is $3,000. I remember somebody asked me, they said, Johnny, if Bitcoin was so good, why wouldn't they come on TV and do a big announcement about it and tell everyone to buy it? I said, are you kidding me? I said, you know when everyone's going to buy it? When the price is probably $142,000. And they said, why that high? I said, because it's going to be during a hyperinflation and people are going to be FOMOing into it.
Right. And things like this are happening where the Supreme Court ruling yesterday allowed the IRS to access your bank records secretly. It's now completely legal for the IRS to secretly obtain bank records of third-party individuals who are not under federal investigation. Just insane. So there goes, that's a constitutional right being violated. I believe that's the Fourth Amendment. But just insane to me.
So they don't even have to audit you. They can just secretly obtain your bank records.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that is when people are in danger of having privacy. Lawful people are in danger of having privacy or not having privacy in their life for whatever reasons. This is where it's so backwards. It's not that, we have right now where the government is refusing to turn over, the FBI is refusing to turn over the subpoenaed reports, about a situation. Everybody probably knows what we're talking about, and they get away with it and they just stand there and go, nope. And they just look the court straight in the eye and, tell them they're not going to do it and thumb their nose at them. But then on the other hand, the individual is losing their individual rights here without any support. We didn't vote this in. The Supreme Court doesn't get to change this law of our privacy. That's not how that works. So this has to stop. This has to change. But like you said, people are going to wait until, hyperinflation and no privacy till we lose everything. And then they're going to say, you were so lucky. You got in so early. No, we were listening and looking for solutions and building community and trying to help others look for solutions and build community.
Do you think as the system is completely falling apart, even more than it is now during a hyperinflation when it's really falling apart, and there's these capital controls in place, you think your bank's going to allow you to buy a lot of crypto? They're going to say, no, you could buy X amount per week. That's it. Mm-hmm. And they're going to look at us and say, oh, you guys are so lucky. You guys all got lucky. This and that. We didn't get lucky. We just were thinking critically about what was going on, what was happening. It's look around, look at COVID, what they did to us. I mean, That's why I go back to the moon landing thing. I'm like, they've been doing it. Didn't just start with COVID. Look at the moon landing.
Well, and that's what that fall today at the Air Force looked like, a moon landing. I mean, that clearly that is a green screen of those cadets because they're not responding. They're not having a physical response to an elderly gentleman falling in front of them. Like that is if you see somebody fall down in front of you,
You would
or
guess.
lean, or you look, or you would have a physical. They are just like, and it's not that they're standing at attention or they're military or whatever. There's one kid pointing and doing this or whatever. That's not what's going on. So, I mean, right now there's so much distraction. I don't know. I know 10,000 pictures of Hunter's laptop are supposed to come out today. I don't know if that's another distraction that they, clutching their pearls. Don't look after, everybody's, it's been it's been out if you knew where to look, or if you wanted to look. Meanwhile, today's June 1st. Today is the day that they had originally said the government runs out of money.
Yeah. There's so many distractions right now, and we're in a time of high-speed communication, mass manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate. It's really easy to manipulate people. There's a lot coming at people. People are very like, what team are you on? Are you on this team or that team kind of thing? And then, so they're very jaded in what they believe, what they want to see. But
and they loop you into a thing. So because somebody started having a conversation with me about the whole pride thing, and they were like assuming that I was against, two adults making decisions, because I was saying, like, I don't appreciate what Target did with putting a Satanist's designs supporting that kind of stuff in a children's area. Because I don't think you should be talking, it's a sexual issue. I don't think it should be focused on children. I don't think you should sexualize children in any way at any time. It's never appropriate. And so that's the issue I have with it. I don't really have a personal issue with two consenting adults doing whatever they want, but I don't also understand why they need a parade about it, because it's supposed to be everyone. If you love somebody, you love somebody, and that's between those two people. I don't have a parade for me and Charlie every year.
It's an agenda.
And ask everyone should acknowledge my marriage, or my sexual preferences.
That stuff's there's some stuff that's supposed to be kind of private.
Yeah.
Your sexual preference, what you like. It's like, you like what you like, but there's not a time and a place where it's appropriate around children. I don't want any type of sexuality talked about around my kids. Right. I don't want you talking about them about any type of sexual preference. It's their children. I don't want their brains even going there.
Right.
And it's an agenda. It's why do all these movies have to be remade? And why do they always have to put that in there? If you look at TV now, it's always it's an agenda with this whole movement. And it's like, why'd you have to remake the movie? Why'd you have to do all this stuff? I was watching a comedian. He was showing a song that got pulled from the 40s because they said it was too vulgar. And then he was reading the lyrics from it. And then he goes, the most popular song was a song called WAP, which, close your ears, kids, stands for wet ass pussy.
Oh.
And that's played everywhere. And the lines for that are so vulgar. And he's like, this is appropriate in today's society, but this song from the 40s was apparently too vulgar. That radio station.
Wow.
It's a farce. It's a farce.
It is
like
an agenda for sure.
It's a farce. Like, you don't have to remake movies and change the character's color, change their sexuality. Like, just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Mm-hmm. Like, it's too much. And the pride stuff, like it's
the pride stuff is exclusive and leaves out everyone. It's kind of like the BLM stuff. Oh, only these lives matter. Only this love matters. And that's where I have a problem. I'm like, no, Valentine's Day is for everyone, and you can love
I
whoever you
got a
want.
problem with like towns flying the flag because it's like,
Yeah.
hold on, if your town should
yeah.
fly the U.S. the American flag, a state flag, and if your town happens to have a flag of your county, you fly that. What about people? All
But
right,
not
pride flag.
beliefs.
What about people, residents that want a Trump flag?
Right.
What if I want a Bitcoin or Litecoin flag? And I say, I want this flag.
And what happens when it's the Satanist turn? Then do they get to fly their flag too? You know, be careful what you wish for.
Be careful what you wish for, because you might just get it. So it's the agenda. I don't have any moral problem at all with people's preference at all. It doesn't.
But don't force it on someone else.
Yeah.
Don't force me to. Yeah.
I don't like the agenda behind things. It was like the whole Black Lives Matter thing. It was it was such an agenda that it's like that whole thing, and this stuff has set us back. So, if you rewind 20 years ago, this stuff wasn't on people's minds. People got along. There was very little racism. People didn't care. Oh, you're gay. I got a gay friend. I got this. One of my friends is this color or that color. Now it's such an agenda, and everybody's so quartered off or sectioned off. Oh, you think this. You think this. You think this. They've set us back so far. And honestly, it's one of the main people to blame is Obama. Obama, that piece of fucking shit. I mean, granted, it's not him. There's people behind him.
Right.
His wife, Michael, one of the people behind him. But who's ever controlling him. But still, he's the front man, so we'll blame him. What a piece of crap. He set us back so far. That should have been a turning point for everybody, where people said, wow, the United States had a black president. Wow, look, talk about how this country is not racist. They voted in a black man as president, and people love him, right? That should have been a kumbaya moment for the country. And instead, that man set out to divide us, He's one of the biggest racists out there. And it's not just him, but he started it. And now we've went so far backwards. I mean,
he was part of the 16-year plan that they had. And then Hillary was supposed to get in. And that's where Trump got in and changed everything and messed up their plan, including making Juneteenth a national holiday. And really, just trying to, and being the most peaceful president ever, all of those things. And I know you've got to go, but there was this video that I really this really hit me really hard. And I pinned it on Twitter. I hope everybody will watch it. But basically, and we won't watch the whole thing, but he's talking about all these companies went woke, and he said, but they had to, because the people behind the strings, the puppets behind the strings, put these policies in place. These, I think it's DEI or DIE, or I can't remember what it's called.
It might be, it's ESG and then CGI possibly, or something like that.
Well, it's like diversity, inclusion, something, or diversity.
There's a bunch of
I don't know.
Words
yeah, all these things. But basically, they're making part of their strategy in communism is to infiltrate from within, and then have you turn on yourself. And we're eating our own. We're destroying everything that is Americana. We're saying, oh, we hate that. And it's like that where they're trying to CRT or whatever, trying to make white kids feel shamed and hate themselves or whatever.
Yeah.
They're doing this with this stuff. With these boycotts, we have to be careful and really critically think about it and unpack this. And stop focusing on what we hate as much as finding the things we love and building up the things we love, because this is where they win when we destroy ourselves.
Yeah.
But I would just, I really encourage everybody to go watch this video. And
this is what they want. Like you said, that's part of the agenda of communism: destroy from within. And it's these companies are being forced to do it. They won't get they had a quote from the CEO of BlackRock, Larry Fink. He said, well, sometimes you have to force people what to do. That's not America. What happened?
That's what they did to Elon. Even Elon, the richest man in the world, with the Twitter sale, they have forced him to do things. The banks, the money.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
even
sick.
Elon is a slave.
We're in a sick world. So guys, you do your part. And like you say, Lisa, enough. People got to say enough, and they got to fight back. They got to say, I've had enough. And a lot of times people say, well, what could I do? What could I do? Don't have a defeatist attitude. Do every little thing that you do, little actions win battles, which win the war. So that's kind of how we have to look at it. It's not, there's not a knight in shining armor that's going to come save us. We just have to do it piece by piece, action by action. And don't have a defeatist attitude. Go out there, stand up for your beliefs, stand up for your rights. Don't pretend like you like something because you're like, oh, I just don't want it to get out there no. Say how you feel. Say how you feel. You're not being a racist. You're not being a sexist. You're not against people. So I'm not against these people at all. It's I don't want the agenda of it. I don't want it pushed to my kids. I don't want it pushed to my kids.
Or shoved down my throat. That's your personal belief or feeling or whatever. I'm not over, handing you pamphlets about heterosexuality or, whatever, cigar and dogs or whatever Westwood would say. But, I don't know. That's where we've got to be able to, and that's when, if you can have with this political correctness crap and, oh, you shouldn't say this and you shouldn't say that. It might be rude to say something, but it's not illegal. Yeah. It might be impolite, but it's not unlawful. Exactly. And that's where, it's time to say something.
Exactly. It's a good way for us to end.
Yes. Yes. All right, you guys take care. Tomorrow is happy hour. We'll be talking more about the meetup coming up in June 23rd. In Peoria, Illinois at Peoria Pizza Works. You can go to litecoinlisa.net, go to events and check it out, or go to Westwood, clintwestwood.net. And on the very top, there's a big banner and it says Happy Hour Roadshow. Click on that. You'll get more information about it. We'll have giveaways. And if you are new to crypto and want to download a wallet, Westwood will send you a little Litecoin there. We'll just have a great time. So might even drag you up on the stage, and we'll be live streaming the show. So hope you all can join us there. Yes. And vote with your wallet. I am. I love that. I think we're all doing that and taking a stand. So everybody, let's say enough.
Enough. That's how we end. It's like a team. Enough. 1, 2, 3, enough.
Enough. Take care. See you guys tomorrow.
Later, guys.